Late drama turns the tide in AC Milan's favour. Rangers held to a draw in Prague, whilst Arsenal and Tottenham both take strong advantages with them into the second leg ties. Hey guys, Fletch here. Yes, this here is absolutely terrible. I am still waiting for barbers to open. I've just got to make the most of it while it's there. But back to the video. You know the drill by now. This is a Fletch Talks video. I'm Fletcher, of course. You know the drill by now. This is where I bring a topic, a trending topic, or a topic of interest to the forefront to talk about, to discuss. And today's video is going to be centering around the Europa League. Last night, the round of 16 stage commenced, and you know, although the Europa League, I have called it a bootleg Champions League, the Champions League Light Edition, a BTEC Champions League, so on and so forth. I've all called it that, and I've been a bit disrespectful to it, I admit. But let's be fair, it's still an interesting competition to have and to watch. And, you know, it can provide a gateway for these kind of teams to get into the Champions League for the following season. So, obviously that is to the winner of this competition, of course. So, it is very interesting to watch and to look at. Last night, the first leg of the round of 16 played out, as I mentioned, and there were some big games in this round of fixtures with some interesting results, setting up some very intriguing second legs ahead to be played out next week, of course. But before we get into reviewing the first leg, quick reminder to please like the video, subscribe if you're new. Both links will always and forever be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get on with the video. Let's talk about the first leg of the round of 16 stage of the Europa League, starting with arguably the biggest game of this round of fixtures, Manchester United taking on AC Milan. Yeah, Alaska Simon Kjaer goal has ensured that AC Milan take with them back to the San Siro next week a very, or could be very important away goal, as a 1-1 draw played out at Old Trafford last night. Milan had the ball in the back of the net not once but twice in the first half, but both were ruled out for different reasons. The first was ruled out because of an offside call. The second was ruled out by an accidental and seemingly very harsh handball call by the VAR. But the first half remained goalless, and the game did remain goalless until the second half. At half-time, Man United introduced a substitution to the game, and it was that man who made an instant impact. And I am, of course, talking about United's newest signing, Amad Diallo. He came off the bench and made an instant impact with a clever backwards header that beat the AC Milan goalkeeper and opened the scoring for United. And from there, United looked very happy to see the game out at 1-0. Take that to the San Siro next week and hope to gain something in the form of away goals there. However, Milan had other ideas and did manage to find an equaliser in the stoppage time and get what could turn out to be a very important away goal to take back home with them next week. And you know, maybe upon reflection, a draw in this game was a fair result. This would have been the tie, of course, that United probably were dreading when the draw was made. They didn't probably want to draw Milan at this stage of the competition, but of course the reality is they probably have to go through such a competitive game like this at some stage. Why not get it out of the way and done with early? And you know, next week at the San Siro is going to be a big opportunity for United. It's going to be a massive opportunity for them to lay down a real signal of intent towards winning this competition by knocking out one of the favourites, one of the big guns of this tournament. But you know, in saying that, they've got to go to the San Siro. They've got to go and face AC Milan. They've got to do this, and it's going to be a very tough task for them, especially now that Milan have an away goal to their name. It ain't impossible by any means. United do have the attacking force to cancel out that away goal rule, but The question is, can they keep Milan out at the other end? As for Milan, one away goal is probably the least they deserve from this game. They might feel a little hard done by that Frank Kessie's goal in the first half was ruled out for the handball call, but there's nothing they can do about it now. But I think overall, they'll be quite confident heading into the second leg next week, and they'll be quite confident that they can get the job done there at home next week. So, all in all, this sets up a very big and very intriguing 90 minutes at least of football ahead at the San Siro next week. Next we come to Steven Gerrard's Rangers, who will be taking a 1-1 draw back away with them to Ibrox next week. And of course, with it being 1-1 in this tie, it means that Rangers have scored what could be a very important away goal after their draw with Slavia Prague. Of course, Prague being the team that knocked out Leicester in the previous round of this tournament. Rangers fell behind very early on, but equalised 10 minutes before half-time. Both sides had a few chances and a few half chances throughout the entirety of the game, but it will be Rangers, I believe, who will be the happier of the two teams coming away from this game and going into next week's second leg. The beauty for Rangers is that, you know, they've got the Scottish League all wrapped up and done with very early on. Like, they are already Scottish League champions, and now they can focus on getting as far within this competition as possible for them. It would be a major achievement for not just Steven Gerrard as a manager, but for the club as a whole, if they could go on to win this tournament, this competition. But doing that will be very difficult when you consider some of the teams that are left within this competition elsewhere. And of course, before they get ahead of themselves, there is still a very important and very big, at the very least of course, 90 minutes of football ahead still, with the return fixture of this, the return leg. So there's still a lot of football to be played before they go making plans further down the line within this tournament. But with an away goal to take back with them to Ibrox, they'll certainly fancy their chances of making it to the final 8 of this competition come the final whistle of the second leg. Next, we look at Arsenal, who will be taking a very strong lead back with them to the Emirates next week following a 3-1 victory over Olympiacos last night. Of course, this was a very good opportunity for Arsenal to exact some revenge on the Greek side, who knocked them out of this competition last season. And so far, Arsenal have put themselves in a very good position to achieve that goal. Martin Odegaard scored the opening goal of the game and his first goal in an Arsenal shirt before Arsenal played their way into trouble and gifted away an equalising goal for the Greek side in the second half. But late on, Gabriel headed the Gunners back in front, and Mohamed El Neni, an unlikely goal scorer but a very important one, secured Arsenal's third away goal of this tie. Overall, it means that it's a fantastic result for Arsenal. They did exactly what they had to do and actually put Olympiacos to the sword, so to speak, in this game by scoring 3 away goals, meaning that when the return leg happens and Olympiacos are away at the Emirates, they have to come out and attack Arsenal, which could play into Arsenal's hands, of course. The away goal rule, of course, still could be very important in this game when everything is said and done. But for Arsenal, good performance all round. They'll be a little disappointed that they gifted away such a cheap goal in the second half. But ultimately, they made up for it by scoring twice late on. It puts them in a very strong position in order to qualify for the quarterfinals. And surely, Arsenal will be going through to the last 8, right? And the final British team we're going to be focusing properly is, of course, Jose Mourinho's Tottenham, and they as well put in a very good performance and got a very, very good result from that to put them in good stead and a favourable position going into next week's second leg, as they beat Dynamo Zagreb 2-0 thanks to a brace from their star striker, Harry Kane. Kane scored in both halves to give Spurs a very healthy 2-0 lead going into next week's game, and Spurs of course went on to also claim a clean sheet in that game, meaning that Zagreb didn't manage to score any possible important away goals, and it means that it's completely an advantage to Spurs going into next week. A terrific performance by Jose Mourinho's side, and now they can turn their attention to the big North London derby that is to be taking place on Sunday, of course. Overall, Tottenham did exactly what they set out to do. It's a job well done and a perfect result and performance by Spurs. Kane gets a couple of goals to add to his impressive goals contribution stats this season. So all in all, a very good day at the office. It's looking pretty good for Spurs right now, and I'm sure that they're one of the favourites to go on in this competition and possibly win it. Whether they do that or not remains to be seen. It is completely different to say they're going to do something to actually do it, and it is obviously a lot more difficult to achieve that. But seeing as getting into the top 4 in the Premier League is as competitive as ever, it seems, this season, maybe winning the Europa League to gain access into the Champions League for next season will be something worth heavily considering for both the club and their manager, Jose Mourinho. Elsewhere in the Europa League, you also had Ajax. They seem to have their tie done and dusted following a very comfortable 3-0 victory over Swiss side Young Boys. Of course, nothing is over until it's over, but they should have no problem in seeing this game out from here and going about their business in a professional manner over the remaining course of the 90 minutes of the second leg. From Ajax to Villarreal, it's possible that a similar story is brewing in this game as well for the Spanish side, as they managed themselves to secure a comfortable victory over Dynamo Kiev last night. Villarreal secured a 2-0 victory over Kiev, and as well as that, they of course took 2 away goals with them from this game to take back into their home leg for next week with them. So they pretty much would probably only need to score 1 away goal next week to properly kill this game off and reach the quarterfinals of this competition. From one Spanish side to another, we come to Granada, who also seem to have 1 foot in the quarterfinals following a 2-0 victory over Norwegian side Molde. The home side scored their goals midway through both halves to put themselves in a very strong position to make it into the quarterfinals and for a strong position for next week's second leg, of course. Molde also went down to 10 men in this game to cap off a very disappointing night for them. And finally, from a Spanish side to an Italian side, we come to Roma, who beat Shakhtar Donetsk by 3-0 on the night and put them in a very, very, very strong position going into their second leg. The Italian club scored 3 times on the night and kept a clean sheet to boot to help to put their very good chances of qualifying for the quarterfinals in a very good light. And really, you know, 3-0 up, no away goal rule to contend with other than to score 1 themselves maybe and put the tie completely to bed. Possibly confirms their status within the final 8 of the competition, does it not? Only time will tell. And that about wraps it up for this video, but as I always say, guys, this is just one man's thoughts and one man's opinions on this particular topic. I want to know what you guys think. What did you make of the opening leg of the round of 16 stage of the Europa League? What do you make of the competition so far? What do you make of the teams that are in it? Who do you think will actually go on to qualify next week? Who do you think will be knocked out? And if you're feeling it, who do you think will actually win this competition this season? I'd love to know your thoughts, your comments, your opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call them, down in the comment section below. I'm sure they'll all make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video.